become, be a champion.
Did Gio? I know your son Giovanni has sparred some really elite fighters, not just world champions, but elite guys like Devin and others. Did he ever work with Gervonta out in Vegas?
No, we never had the opportunity to spar with Gervonta. I do know his trainers, I know his people, and we've asked before, and we'll see. But Giovanni sparred Devin Haney recently. Giovanni's fighting next week on Overtime Boxing platform on the Zone. He's 9-0 with 5 knockouts. He's fighting a tough guy from San Antonio, Jason Limon, who's 8-1. And Giovanni, most recently, all last week, he sparred with Shakur. Shakur Stevenson. Shakur really likes him. So he gives Shakur good work. And most likely after this fight, after Giovanni fights next week, he might take off a week, and then he'll go back in camp with Shakur and help Shakur get ready for his next opponent.
So they're becoming friends, not
Oh
just.
yeah, they're really cool with each other. Like I said, Shakur knows that Giovanni wants to learn, wants to get better. He gives them good work. Plus, they're there in Houston. Shakur actually doesn't live that far away from me. He lives like 2 miles away from my house, and we're in the same neighborhood. We work out at Prince Gym when we go spar with Shakur. We all get along. It's work. When we're in the ring, they're competitive because it's competition. Of course, I want the best for my son, and Pops and Jack and the rest of Ronald Sims are working with Shakur. They want the best for him, but at the end of the day, we're just we like working with guys like that because that gets Giovanni better.
But Shakur, correct me if I'm wrong. He's not very standoffish if he believes in a young fighter. He's one to kind of give a lot of be generous with his time and advice. Is that kind of what you've seen with him and Gio?
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do see that. I do see that. I think like I said, he loves to work with Giovanni. He'll challenge Giovanni. I mean, they'll talk to each other when they're sparring. He'll try to test them, and it's only gonna get better. It's all good stuff for Giovanni and at the same time Shakur, because Shakur needs that kind of work. He needs a young, hungry lion to give him those rounds where it's not just like a sparring match. Like more Shakur really has to think and be ready. Especially if he spars another guy and then he spars Giovanni after that. It makes the sparring harder and tougher for him. But Shakur, he's very disciplined. He's dedicated, man. He's a student of the game. Like I said, he loves working with Giovanni. Giovanni loves working with Shakur. It's a big challenge for Giovanni, and Giovanni wants to get better, and that's when the kid really wants it. I know there's guys that talk. They want to do boxing. They do this. They do that. But when I see my son in there with Shakur, and I see things that he does at times, he's got his good days. Sometimes he's got his bad days. But I see him progressing. He's learning. That's for us. That's a win.
I'm going to ask you just to put that aside for a moment, though. Your son's friendship with Shakur and
Yeah.
him and Tank are they the top two lightweight? Lomachenko in there too is the top three, but who do you favor in that fight? Because that's the fight a lot of the fans are asking for at lightweight is Tank.
You know what? Yeah, and I'm not saying. I promise you, I'm not saying this because we're friends with Shakur, but I've always told Shakur that he's very smart in there, man. He's fast. He knows how to figure you out. He knows how to figure out the puzzle. I believe if him and Tank fought, it would be a hell of a fight. But you know how Tank waits and waits, and I think Shakur, he's got the skills. He's fast. He's got the footwork. He's always trying to create openings and set you up. His southpaw stance. I think Shakur would beat Tank by decision, man. I really think so. And there's always that if Tank doesn't catch him, because Tank, he might let you win 3 or 4 rounds and come back, and all of a sudden, he'll catch you. But if Tank doesn't catch him, I see Shakur beating him by decision. That's my opinion. That's my honest, humble opinion.
No, and other fighters have told me similar things too. Because
Yeah,
styles make fights.
styles make fights. Like I said, I know I'm repeating myself again, but Tank does have the tendency to wait a lot. Uh, Maybe because that he believes in his power. He trusts in his power. which he has been successful. You know, he's let guys win rounds at times. There's been guys that have been in the fight, you know, and he baited him in, and then bam, he just caught him, bro. I think Rolly was in the fight when he fought him.
Yep.
Until he caught him. A bunch of those guys, you know, that he's fought. But I do believe that I just think Shakur's too smart for that. I think Shakur will outsmart him. He's got more speed, footwork. I just don't think he'll get caught. But if he does get caught, you know, then might be different.